I just did my first WhatNot live show this weekend, and I'm here to tell you everything about it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the pros, the cons, expectations versus reality, and all of the above. So if that's something you're interested in seeing, stay tuned. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany Rosenbaum, and I am a full-time mommy and a part-time reseller. I sell on eBay, Mercari, Facebook, Poshmark, and now WhatNot. So before I even got started with my show, before ever even scheduling it, I did a lot of research. I attended the onboarding session, which I did film. If you guys want to see it, drop a comment below and I'll go ahead and upload that as long as I am allowed to. And I researched on the Creator Academy on the WhatNot site, how to do it and everything like that. I also watched a lot of videos. If you saw last week or 2 weeks ago, I was on my friend Rachel Strickland's YouTube channel and we talked about my lawsuit. I'll go ahead and link that video up here. And she has a whole series about WhatNot for beginner WhatNot users, how to set everything up, how to make them successful. So I just binge watched all of her videos about WhatNot. So if you guys are thinking about joining WhatNot, go over her channel, like, subscribe, and watch all of her videos. She has some really, really great content. If there's a shadow on my face, I apologize. A cat just jumped in my window. So I did preload most of my items that I was having beforehand into my little store on WhatNot, and I didn't upload all of them, but I uploaded most of them. And when I actually started my show, I did have my son helping. He is 8, and he really didn't do a huge amount, but he was greeting the guests and he handed me the plush as we were doing it. We didn't go in like any particular order. We just went by what we could grab or what seemed fun, or people were able to kind of tell me in the comments if they wanted to see any of the items because they could see in my store what I had on hand. It was a plush show, so we had almost, I think it was around 45 stuffed animals that we were auctioning off that night. And as far as my stats go, at one time, I think I had a total of 9 users in the chat live. I had a total of 55 views on my show, and obviously one of them was me. I sold 18 items for a total of $60, and I had 5 different buyers. That being said, only one of them was somebody I didn't know. Everybody else was friends and family, and I am so thankful that I have friends and family that do support me and all of my craziness. And I thank you for purchasing, and I really hope that you didn't purchase just out of pity, but hey, you guys got a really great deal. So on some really cuddly stuffed animals. It did take me about an hour and a half through everything, which that was still trying to figure out exactly how to do everything on the app. So it's one thing to watch all these tutorials and kind of know what to do, but it's another thing when you're actually got 2 setups going and you've never actually done it before, because the videos and the tutorials, they don't show exactly how to do everything. So I was running the auctions from my iMac over here, and then over here I was actually streaming the video from my iPad, and I was going through like that. So something that was kind of, I really didn't expect happening is on my iMac, it would kick me out sometimes of the stream, but it wouldn't tell me that I was kicked out. So I would go on here and hit start auction, and it wouldn't actually start. So I would think that my auction was going and the timer was counting down. Then I would look over at my actual stream and it would be showing the last item that I ran. So it would have been nice for it to say, hey, like, you're temporarily out, and then you're back in, you're out and you're back in, because it didn't, like, it always just showed me that I was in. So I had no idea that I was getting kicked out. So I feel like it kind of made me look silly, but learning experiences. The show was really, really fun. It was very energizing. I did do one giveaway, and it was somebody who bundled several items and purchases, so the shipping wasn't awful. And I do have an Android, so you'll see in Rachel Strickland's video, like, if you have an Android, it's going to cut off when you're like adding an item in. So I had to add it manually from my desktop, so I wasn't able to include a picture or anything like that. So if there's a streamlined way to do giveaways and uploading them, I will have to learn more. Obviously, it was just my first show. I still have a lot to learn. But again, it was very fun. I really liked that I could play music and not have to worry about copyright infringements like you have to worry about in YouTube videos. And it just, you know, made for a much more fun experience when you're just listing and taking pictures and selling On all the other platforms, it can get kind of redundant and kind of boring, and also you're not really interacting with people or your friends socially when you're doing that. So I really do like the social aspect of that. I know for sellers who are maybe shy, it can make it really hard to sell and be successful and whatnot. But I encourage everybody to kind of get out of your box. This could be something you could use to gain more sales, and you don't even have to be on camera to get the sales, so check it out. One thing that I also really didn't realize, learning experience, so because I pre-uploaded all of my images and all of my items prior to the show starting, I took the pictures, put the items away, and then when I had time, went and added them into my show. So I didn't have all of the items with me when I was actually creating their link or whatever. And so I just used my best guess as far as weight went, and I thought that I would be able to go and input it because I knew I was going to have my scale next to me during my show. So I had planned to just stick the item on the scale before I ran the auction and then put an actual like real weight in it. And I discovered that you cannot actually edit the weight when you go in after your show has started already. So if you're going to be uploading your items prior, make sure that you do have an exact weight. I know it can be kind of annoying if you have all of your stuff stored already, but it is what it is. You don't want to be overcharging or undercharging for shipping. So let's talk pros and cons of what I liked and disliked about the show and about the app in general. Some of the pros are, like I said, it was very fun. It was very, kind of lighthearted. I was having a blast. It was different. It's not something that I've ever done before. I'd say I've done live shows, but it wasn't very auction format. I have a Facebook page that I would go live in with some items, and I would just say like, hey, everything in this show is $5. So I would like say, hey, here's what I have, who wants it, say your name type of thing. But this was a little bit different in that regard. I really, really liked that my son could do it with me. I didn't have to worry about it being deemed unprofessional or anything like that. I see so many other shows where like the kids are running around or they're doing it as a couple, and nobody cares. Nobody's like, oh my God, I can't believe your kids are there. Like, it's fun, it's laid back, and it's less stressful, honestly. As a mom with a crazy busy life, I can respect that. Something else that I really do like is that you can upload your items as a buy it now into your store and on the marketplace, and then also like run them as an auction in a show. So my next auction, my next live is going to be a women's swimsuit show, and I've already imported all of my items and they're in a buy it now, and whenever I'm ready, I'm just gonna kind of transfer them over to the show to be auctioned off. And that's going into something that I really just learned today, but is like fantastic news to me, is that you can import your Poshmark closet. Maybe you knew that, maybe you didn't. It is so easy to do as well. Like, it's not a click this one, do it, click this one, do it, click this one and do it, kind of like you get when you use other cross-posting platforms. Is connected with your Poshmark. It uploads, it pulls up all of your listings, and then you can edit the shipping, you can edit the category, and then it just uploads them all for you and puts it in the buy it now. All of the price, the categories, if it's similar, the description, all of that is there, the photos. It is so easy. I love it. So I imported my Poshmark listings today, and that is just going to make this so much easier in the future. Something else that I really like that makes it easier and less stressful as a seller is that WhatNot handles all returns. So you're not getting messages from customers who are harassing you, going, oh my God, you described this wrong, when you really didn't. So WhatNot deals with all of that. Your customer service is solely in your show, and when you're shipping the items afterwards, you don't have to deal with the negative aspect of that. And I really, really, really like that WhatNot handles that. I don't know if it'll always be that way in the future, but it's definitely great and less stress for the sellers now. All right, I'm gonna go into the cons now. And so, like with any selling platform, there's going to be cons, but these are not a deal breaker for me. And I know some of them are already in the works to being changed. So one thing, they kind of go hand in hand, is like your report after a show. So especially in regards to people buying multiple items. So I had several buyers buy multiple items, and each item obviously was charged their individual price that they want it for, but also their shipping was charged on an individual level. So it did go down like considerably. Like your first one was higher, and then as you know, you went depending on the weight, it was lower. So like I had one item that I sold, and it would have shipped first class. It wasn't very heavy, but the shipping price on that one item was only 50 cents. And like that's cheaper than a stamp. So I know it's cheaper than it would have been if you were selling and shipping individually. So that is good. However, I still feel like there was plenty of room to be overcharging. It may have overcharged some. It's hard to know, you know, because you're putting accurate measurements in there, but you're also not able to shop and get the best deal on your labels, because WhatNot right now is only using USPS to ship with, and that can be a negative because if you're shipping heavier items, USPS is not the best deal. Oftentimes the bigger items and the heavier items, you're going to find a better deal with UPS and FedEx. So that's another con, is you cannot bring your own labels right now. You cannot search for the best deal like you can on the other platforms. And I really hope that WhatNot is working on that to change that. And I know that they are in the process of changing the shipping right now so that if people buy multiple items, it's more of a flat rate shipping than per individual item. So it's by a total weight, and that is great. But a little, I wouldn't say a complaint that I did have from one of my buyers was that the charges were all individually. She did not know a total for her whole purchase, and she did sign up with the referral credit. So to see if she actually got that credit to her purchases, she had to go to her bank statement and manually add up all of her totals and see if she was given the discount and what her grand total for the show was for her. And I can see the frustration in that. It's frustrating on her, but also on a seller standpoint. You can't just go and look at a show and see what your pending profit is. Like you can see your total sales, but you don't get to see what your seller cut of that is after fees until everything has been delivered and, you know, 48 to 72 hours later. So as a seller, I'd really like to be able to see what my pending amount is so I can really get an accurate picture of how well I did for that show. So I really hope that is something that they adapt in the future as well. Now, I don't really have a full experience. I haven't gotten all of my payouts yet. Not all of the items have been delivered, and they do say that it takes 48 to 72 hours after the items have arrived and been delivered that you will see your payouts. So some of my items were delivered yesterday, some today, some tomorrow. So we'll see when my payouts start coming. And I still don't, obviously, because I don't have any of the money and any of the funds in my WhatNot account yet. I cannot really say what the process is like actually getting the payouts transferred to your bank account or a form in which you can use. I do know that they partner with PayPal. So I don't know if that's a streamlined or easy process, so I really cannot give feedback on that whole process right now. Overall, it was a really fun experience, and I overachieved on my goals. My goal was to only sell 5, and I sold 18. So I am pleasantly surprised. I know I'm not getting the highest bang for my buck, but I didn't go into it with huge expectations. I know that WhatNot is a very social selling platform, and those that have more followers do better. I currently only have 20 followers right now. My first show did not gain me, I think it gained me maybe 1 follower. So if you guys are seeing this and you want to see some of my shows, go ahead and find me on WhatNot. I will link my profile in the description below, and please give me a follow. I will also link my referral codes for a seller and referral codes as if you want to sign up and make an account as a buyer. There are perks to signing up as a buyer with my code. You will get $10 and I will get $10. Free money, right? Love free money. And things sell for pretty cheap on WhatNot. So if you are a reseller, you can use that $10 to buy something to flip. So that's a plus, right? I will go ahead and post in my community section on YouTube when I do plan on doing my next WhatNot show. Like I said, it's going to be a swimsuit show, and all of the swimsuits I'm going to be auctioning are already uploaded in my store. So if you want to take a look at them, go check out the swimsuits in my WhatNot store, and I will let you know when I'm doing that show. Have a good one. Bye.